Tom Skilling joins us. Did you see Tom Meglin's live shot with all that wind?
Isn't that amazing? And yet, had Tom been out there, and he was earlier today, he would tell you, I'm sure it's not quite as windy as it was.
Oh.
And it is coming down. But that would be the place to feel the winds. There's no question about that. Look at these shots, Mike and Mark. This comes from Brad Russa. These are some of the waves pounding up against our Lake Michigan shoreline today. Brad gave us a couple of shots. How would you like to be in front of that? And yet that was happening all day. John Kleeman was at Montrose Harbor. He captures the waves exploding into the air, as did Rob Quinn at Michigan City, Indiana, on the other side of the lake. Look at that wave engulfing the buoy there, while way out in Vermont, Charlotte, Vermont, Barbara Gill photographed this beautiful rainbow after the rains of Sandy departed yesterday, or at least thinned out. And Christy Rochetti shows us the other face of Sandy, and that was its blizzard up in West Virginia in the mountains there, where they're moving in on 3 feet of snow, and the snow is still coming down. This is the full life cycle of Sandy, which started here Monday in the Caribbean, moved up across Cuba, and then off of Bermuda, and then you'll see it start entraining the cold air. It turns into a comma, and then turns toward the west and the United States. Big blocking high up here to the north, a big dome of warm air, pushing it on that unusual path and producing a record-breaking event. And still tonight, the circulation dominates much of the U.S. weather, as it will really into Friday morning, but with decreasing wind velocities. The storm is weakening. It's still 1,600 miles across, but its wind field is slowly winding down. That takes days of time. You get hundreds of millions of cubic miles of air rotating across 1,000 miles, and that takes a while to slow down, but it's grinding against the landmass and off the oceans, where it can be fed by latent heat energy, and that's going on. Precipitation also is winding down. One of the ways we gauge how fast a storm is weakening is we look at its central barometer reading. This was a record last night at 8 o'clock when it hit land around Atlantic City. 27.85 inches. Never has a storm hit the mid-Atlantic with that pressure. Tonight it's up to 29.18 inches, and tomorrow night it will weaken further. The reason that's important, and by the way, here's the wind circulation, again 1,600 miles across. You'll notice we animate through time. We're still in the winds by morning and by tomorrow evening, but you'll see the red areas start shrinking as we go through time into Thursday and finally Thursday afternoon, and even Friday. The last winds will have just departed the area from this storm. When pressures are low, barometer readings are low, the air is rising fast. But as that rising motion slows down, the storm weakens, and the inrush of wind slows down. And that's the process that this storm is undergoing now. Gale warnings on the lake. There are lakeshore flood advisories the south end of the lake. But while there were 24 states under weather advisories last night, that shrunk to 14 states tonight, including advisories for wildfire possibilities down in Florida, for instance. That's how widespread the storm's circulation is. Here are the peak winds as they look toward morning. You'll see these numbers coming down here as the circulation slowly winds down. And in response to the weakening winds, the lake that was 20 inches above normal because of the pileup of water last night was 16 inches above normal at noon, and it's down to 7 inches above normal tonight. And yet it's amazing how close its rains are. Lake effect rains have been blowing into parts of Indiana during the day. We may get a flurry even on this side of the lake. And here's right along the spine of the Appalachians where all that snow has come down. Look at some of these numbers. A hurricane doesn't do this. A hybrid storm that has cold air in it does. And so almost 30 inches is down at Red House, Maryland, in the mountains of western Maryland. Davis, West Virginia, 28 inches, 26 inches at Garrett, Maryland. Here's our model forecast that shows, again, a couple of sprinkles, maybe a flake of snow or a nice pellet flirting with us. But by morning, these clouds will start breaking up, and we ought to see some sunshine during the day tomorrow. And won't that be a nice change? Here's our big storm with its web of pressure lines. Next chance of rain is a little disturbance we'll highlight on the update that comes in over the weekend. Could bring us a couple of showers. But it'll be a long time before we see a storm the likes of Sandy in the United States. And thank heavens, as we tally up the the death toll and the damage and all that that storm brought to the country. Mostly cloudy, windy, and chilly tonight. Some northwest Indiana showers will continue. Maybe an ice pellet or a flurry in the city. I wouldn't lay awake at night waiting for that. 25 to 38 will be the range. Big spread from the west suburbs to Indiana. And at O'Hare, we expect about a 34. Mostly cloudy in the morning, partly sunny, windy, and chilly in the afternoon. High 48 tomorrow. Clouds scatter, blustery, chilly. Mid-20s inland, mid-30s at the lake, and 30 at O'Hare. And beautiful on Thursday, mostly sunny, not quite as cool, 53, and back to the 50s on Friday. No